So the never-ending recession discussion, right? We hear about it all the time. Well, we're going to go into a recession. We're going to have a recession. Is it going to be mild? Is it going to be sharp? Is it going to be long? Is it going to be deep? You know, today the Bank of Canada actually just pushed out their prediction for recession. At the start of this year, many people thought we'd be in a recession by June. Now, some people are saying maybe end of the year. Now we're starting to hear 2024. We're also, the Bank of Canada is pushing out their prediction into 2025 before we see a 2% inflation rate. So everything's being pushed out. And so those that have been calling on or calling for a recession, they've just been wrong. And I think they kind of save face by saying, oh, well, it's coming. It's just the economy is a lot more resilient than we thought globally, North American economy, the Canadian economy, US economy. And so we will have our recession, but it's just going to be pushed out more. So obviously, many people fear the R word, as we call it. If there is a recession, you know, what are the effects on the stock market? Well, obviously, stock market goes down because we know the stock market is a reflection of the economy. If we have a recession, which is negative growth, that means the economy is not growing, and in fact, has negative growth. So a lot of people believe that we could see the stock market fall, especially considering how high it's gone in the first half of this year. And if we have a decent second half, perhaps that sets us up for a fall in 2024. So my comment about this recession and a big fall in the markets is this. The markets fall for certain reasons. They come down for certain reasons. And usually, or pretty much all the time, I should say, those reasons are reasons that catch us off guard. In 2022, you know, we saw the Fed raise rates last year multiple times, catching us off guard. We didn't realize, even the Fed didn't realize that they would raise rates that many times. So the market had to react to that. And how did they react? By selling off. In 2020, no one could predict what was going to happen. COVID washed up onto our shores, the pandemic. And what happened? We weren't expecting it. Markets sold off. 2008, financial crisis. Some people knew what was going on, as evidence from the movie The Big Short, but many people didn't realize what was going on at the major banks in the United States, selling mortgages to people that couldn't afford them, packaging those mortgages and selling them all over the world, creating what we now call the financial crisis. Obviously catching us off guard big time, and we saw the market sell off by half back in 2008. So these are all events that caught us off guard to spur on a sell-off in the markets. Well, I can tell you, the recession call that we're hearing right now has been the most predicted call I've ever heard or have ever seen. So the market is well prepared for a recession if one were to come. And in my opinion, because we're so prepared, every time we see a bit of a sell-off, it seems to be very orderly, and individual investors come in and buy the dip. Why? Because it's so orderly. It's predicted. And in my opinion, a lot of this recession talk is already built into the markets. We saw the markets down big time last year. We saw the NASDAQ down 30%, the S&P down 20+%, the Toronto Stock Exchange down 8 to 10%. We saw the markets down. So I think a lot of that is already factored in. And it would take something out of left field, something we didn't expect, to take down this market significantly. So all this talk about when is the recession coming, when is it coming, I'm going to tell you, you know what? Yes, we don't want a recession, but if it were to happen officially, so we do see 2 negative quarters of GDP, I think we can handle it. I think the market is resilient. It shows how often and how many times it climbs that wall of worry. We'll be able to handle a recession if one were to officially happen. For many, it's already happened. In my opinion, I think we've seen recession in certain sectors at a time, and that makes sense to me. So going forward, don't be afraid of the R word as much. I don't want to talk about recession, but if it happens, I think we will be prepared.